Listing Central is a database, front end and back end, that I created to analyze real estate data per city all across America, as well as generate reports off of that data that get turned into high quality PDFs that get printed and distributed not only across the country but also utilized for a client's website. So to show you what I mean, the reports that get generated look something like this, and I'll zoom in on this, where they are comparing all sorts of data and stats, making price range charts based on the uploaded data, the data that's in Listing Central's backend. The back end is a SQL Server, and the front end is Access. So to show you the front end, I won't show you the back end because that's not all that exciting to look at. So this is the front end. One of the perks of having a graphic design background is that we can have some pretty nice logos for our databases. If you look at this one, it's an L and a C. It's in the shape of a real estate flag. Anyway, real estate marker icon. Anyway, so I'll log in under me, and to be honest, the screen that I'm recording this on is not exactly formatted for this particular database, front end that is, but I don't think that'll get in our way. So essentially, this shows all of the cities that we've collected data for, and then we can go and take a look in report contents at that particular month's statistics. Right. So here's a trend. This is for the trend chart section of the design, where it shows us the last 13 months, and this is the price range section. And all of this is set up internally and saved, and each one is different per city. This particular one starts at 550K. Some cities start at over 1 million, and that's just the part of the data we're looking at, because we do actually, this database itself has probably about 25 million records in its main table. However, you'll notice that it works very quickly because it archives. I say quickly, but right now it's stalling on me. All right, there we go. It archives the data that or the statistical reports that it creates, so that way it can just rely on its past archive and not have to calculate all these stats on the fly. Because once the data is uploaded, that's all that's needed. The data is not going to change once the month closes out. So I'm not going to go ahead and do this, but this publish right here, what that does is it'll open up Adobe InDesign, which is a standard graphic design program. It'll load in a template document, and it'll load all the city's stats into that document and then export a PDF. And it'll do this not just for one city, but if all of these cities are selected with the select all, it'll do 100 cities at a rip. And it does take about an hour to process all of this, and most of that time is actually making the PDF, because the PDF is the slowest part of the process. It's just once all the data is loaded into the document, saving that final PDF is actually the slow step, and there's not much I can do about that. So the reports that it produces look like this. As we were looking at before, it's price charts and square footage charts and trend charts, and then differences. And one of the other cooler or more impressive features is that it'll actually write these statements. It'll use the data to create written English for the reports. Now, all of this gets edited a little bit by an editor, but then she only has to make edits to 100 documents, as opposed to having a graphic designer who would have to make 100 reports a month. This would just take hours. It would take so long that it really wouldn't be feasible to do without Listing Central automating nearly the entire process. Now, it doesn't just make reports that look like this. Different templates can be loaded, and it can make reports that look like this, which then get combined with a monthly mailer that goes out for 20 to 30 different clients. Use a mailer that looks similar to this, but we can generate this all very easily, because once we have the initial setup work done, we can just generate the stats that we need on the fly. We can go and take a quick look, because this isn't too shabby either. The uploader aspect of this. So this is in Excel itself. We can go. This is how the data uploader uploads data each month. She takes a chart. She downloads MLS data, and then uses this user form inside Excel, and then by doing things like selecting last month's data out of the history, because this will show an entire history of the uploads. It'll load in the previous month's settings in case things needed to get altered. That way, nobody has to remember this stuff each month. It'll automatically take a look at how many listings were uploaded the previous month, and it'll give the user somewhat of an idea if they've made any errors in their setup. For instance, this right here says the listing count for this sheet is 3,100. Last month it was 6,100, so I'm thinking that something must be off, and I'm probably looking at the wrong data. So it's actually, it's pretty extensive. There's even a safety check, which will look for flags, as if an agent that belongs to this MLS uploaded data wrong, it'll flag it so we can remove or fix that data before we end up uploading it to our database. So not only that, it's used by a bunch of real estate agents each month. It's used by even Coldwell Banker does a yearly report that we use all this data for. So it's pretty widely used. We're becoming somewhat of a go-to or an industry standard place to get real estate statistics. And this was it was all built by me and a small team of people who have designed an amazing looking product, and who have gone out of their way to make amazingly thorough content and thorough articles each month. So together, we've really done an impressive job. And Listing Central is at this time one of the most the project that I'm most proud of in my career as a real estate data automator. So that about wraps it up. It's quite a tool. Thanks for watching.